All right, we are back at it with some more Road Trader. I've played around with some audio settings while my internet has been completely borked. I've also done a couple of things here, not in game, but just kind of like to the stream itself to try to help out. Hopefully, everything will be working out fine. I'm so glad my internet is supposedly fixed. I can get back into playing some games again. So let's get to it. Right now, we know Heinrix is mad at us. The chaos is rampant, and everything's as it should be. We broke the little device, and a bunch of chaos spawned.
The divine watches over us.
For any of you listening, I have minor announcement, just for those of you who catch this stuff. I don't know how often I'll be announcing it, but I do have a VTube model in the works, so that I will have a face and can react to stuff and things like that nature. Maybe make the streams a little bit more exciting for the people who are watching. We'll just see how that kind of goes. Currently slotted though is like August 2025 to get it completed, so it's gonna be a moment.
I'm still new to the art of exploring.
Everguard is asking for access codes you do not have.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Altar to the on the side of the purity seal has been torn off, the day slates, the sacred code shattered, and some of the teeth on the gear of adornments broken off.
My warp sight reveals something.
Oh, too hard for a simple monkey.
Ooh! Corn! The Chaos Space Marine towers over the tech priest, bowed head like a dark cliff. He is reciting a sermon, slowly, almost chanting. From the mere sound of his deep, low voice, you break into a cold sweat and your gorge rises. Listen, for my words reveal to you a path from the darkness unto the primordial truth which has thrown open its gates for wayward souls seeking deliverance from the shroud of lies and torments of enslavement. Your minds have shed the bonds of the dogma that has guided you into the abyss, accept now the hope granted to you by the greatest of the word-bearers. I knew our meeting on Raikai Minoris wouldn't be the last, but to run into this anathema here. Yava Gamma did not merely succumb to Harris Ignatius, your world is in the clutches of the greatest evil known to the Imperium. The new sphere signature of the defective units has been archived. In accordance with the sacred commandments, I will tolerate no heresy and hereby sentence you to categorically disposal without redemption. The word of the righteous hymn cut through the torrent of the heretics' and pious proclamations. You feel as if the light of the Emperor himself touches your heart, warming it with grace and protecting it from the malignant corruption. Gain the Pray Against effect. Permanent. Okay. Chaos Fishman roars and for his attack priest turn in charge on cue. Let's do this.
Cast you into eternal darkness.
That is a lot of melee, which makes sense. Alright. Front line.
Actions will
Right about in
speak
there.
louder than words. The Emperor commands. This is beyond me. I will not be deterred.
You aren't kidding, these are indeed some tough cultists.
Rejoice in service. And so shall it be done. Rejoice in service. I will not be deterred.
Alright, Abelard, I'm counting on you.
Bring ruin. Out of my way!
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Gray hair? Sure hair.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all you.
That's something worse. Death to the weak.
You guys are attacking just the wrong guy.
But of course, Lord Captain. I won't object to it. For the throne's glory. Naturally. I won't object to it.
Another step towards our ultimate victory.
Stop that. Get us all set up.
Request approved.
I'm gonna set them on those guys since they will actually die and feed the buff.
This is favorable. My vow is to serve.
And one shot.
Request approved.
Pretty good.
I understand your intent. If I must. No weakness is hidden from my sight. This tedium is beneath me. Ancestors, guide me!
I took care of this one. For Von Valancius. It will be done, like the aftermath of an orbital strike.
Ask me if he cares, because he doesn't, ladies and gentlemen. This is Abelard.
I will do my duty. Grey hair, sure hand. It will be done. An exemplary strike. Victory is imminent. Just a minor setback.
They're not going to get a chance to do anything. Abelard,
May my wrath be thy
bring me his
undoing.
kidneys.
It will be done.
Radical bolters. And another cloak. All bonuses from the wearer's combat tactics areas are increased by 5% for one round if the wearer uses a stratagem different from the one used before, if none were used before. Yes.
Know your duty.
Careful light plate. Everybody levels up.
No suffering will make me forget his sacred words. Burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean.
And you can't beat this guy in these two, but boost commerce. No dropped frames so far. Our internet might be actually fixed. Yeah, sure. Oh, because he has a crippled leg, that's right. Forgot he has an owie. That can be pretty good. 2 times enemy's difficulty tier percent damage. So tiers only go up to like 3, so they could get 6% more damage. I think that's it. Nope. No. He's a doctor. Doctor Sniper, Sniper Doctor. Yeah, keep the momentum high so we can pop those abilities. Oh, you don't need either of those. Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be good. That should actually work, because his archetype is... And then we're gonna swap him out. That even counts. It seems pretty good since I can finally trigger some damage over time effects. Which is apparently the assassin's thing, so if all of his attacks do poison, we might have half a decent character.
Guide our way.
I did see that door, I'm just trying to see if there's another thing. Another console. Curved parts appear foreign compared to the other geometry of the manufacturer, and the many holes and fasteners indicate that each component serves as but a single part of some wicked design. The tech priest tears himself away from reading his data slate, looks up at you. His respiratory augmentic is missing. Instead, the lower half of his face is covered in deathly pale artificial flesh. You seem to take note of a multitude of fresh augmentics attaching to his head. They seem to have inserted haphazardly and pus is seeping from the untreated wounds. I heard your footsteps in the void. You are Von Valancius, are you not? Pascal exchanges a seer binaric signals with the tech priest before saying menacingly, initiating arrest procedure. This unit is using a fabricated identification code which constitutes a grade 4 transgression. To Technolingua, his vox erupting and seized by Heinrix I. There's no need for secrecy. Let him understand. The heretic nods in your direction with a smile. Following a voluntary surrender, I'll be willing to commute the punishment from immediate destruction to arrest and isolation for the purposes of conducting an exhaustive interrogation. Request denied, Tech Comrade. You'll have to pull what I know out of my head.
For the faithful. Rejoice in service! The Emperor commands!
I will do my duty. Grey hair, sure hand. I'd rather not.
Rejoice in service! And so it shall be done.
I don't know what those do, but they look like pork.
Rejoice in service!
I am not your Xenos pet monkey.
Nobody said you were.
If it serves your cause. I understand your intent.
An exemplary strike.
Good on you guys.
If I may,
But of course, Lord Captain.
A stalker.
isn't this a job for the serfs?
Oh, parried
I'm
Avalar.
not accustomed to being ordered around.
Cogitation failed. My competencies are not that universal. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. The order is contrary to dogmatic protocols. Cogitation failed. Request. Combat is an equation. Your life is a negligible variable.
Oh, somebody who's managed to hit Avalar.
Ballard.
They really are heretics.
For the throne's glory. Let's see to it. I won't object to it. But of course, Lord Captain. vengeance will be swift. Nothing stands against me.
It will be done. At your beck and call. It will be done.
Is that what it's like for these people? Is that what I've been doing to them this whole time?
I will not be deterred.
And you need some damage over time because you are being a little weird.
I won't suffer this.
High momentum.
I won't object. Holy terror, smite your enemies. Someone's death wish is mine to grant. Naturally, be gone.
Henry, you're not doing too bad.
For the throne, your reckoning is
High
due.
momentum.
But of course, Lord Captain.
I am but a vessel for the higher purpose.
Let's see to it. Naturally. I won't object. I'm done with this one.
Pascal stands motionless as he stares at the heretic's corpse. After a long silence, he finally says in a hollow voice, I... Taking his neural cogitator. Data contained within must be analyzed to supplement the catechism of maintenance and operation. Reasonable vendor. The statement is true. The value of the data justifies the risk. Pascal leans over the corpse, activates the sampling tool of one of his mechadendrites, and plunges it into the tangle of augmentics covering the heretic's skull.
We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
Logic gains the owner a ton plus 10 bonus to logic. Yeah. Fires melee attacks made against enemies under the effects of exposed weakness, decreases damage strength by agility by 10.
The divine watches over us. The burden
Massive
of
suit-covered
failure.
vessels are filled with blood, which produces a horrible stench. crucified body had all of its augments removed. Judging by the abundance of blood, they were ripped out when the tech priest was still alive.
Let us walk this path to the end.
I don't know why in an RPG game that I'm like 20 hours into, that's the first time I hit the map button.
An expected result. Not my worst day. Yet.
Why were all of you... Why would it just immediately play a cutscene if not to allow me to... The good machines.
What a shameful failure.
With each step, I forge my destiny among the stars.
The cogitator looks dead, only a single lumen shows that there's life within the machine. Several lumens light up the panel, you hear distinct clicks, and the cogitator goes quiet, clearly having fulfilled its purpose.
This is out of the ordinary.
The machine god grants the insight.
Know your duty.
I sense something nearby.
Rumbling builds up in the bowels of the furnace, growing stronger apace with the sounds of the ancient motors. The rumbling is echoed by the screeching of metal gears and the clanging of unknown mechanism. Slowly, almost hesitantly, the creation disgorges a data bank engraved with the coat of arms of House von Valancius.
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
Definitely some way to get there.
Let the faith guide my path to glory. I rise above
This
hardships.
is an altar of Zench, amidst the revolting tones, twisted symbols that gaslight, a string of nines burned into the metal surface. That's Zench, alright. Mishmash of steel, wire, and augmentation shaped by some madman to an unknown and frightening monstrosity.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
I definitely missed something.
Let's walk this path to the end.
My reckoning will be swift.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
This explorator
The
is
cargo used for transporting parts. CyberGuard is asking for codes you do not have.
What is rightfully ours?
Okay.
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong right now.
With each step, I forge my destiny among the stars.
Japan stations. 5.
Let the faith guide my path to glory. Let us walk this path to the end. The Divine watches over us. We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
Oops. Oh my goodness. Why not have an icon
Let us
for
see
it?
what I found.
Watch your steps. I have learned much in my exile. Failed my kin.
With each step, I forge my destiny among the stars.
Jesus. Upon noticing you, Cubus Delphim straightens. You hear the clanging and groaning of metal as if the pistons and bearings in the fabricator sensor's augmented body have fused together. Repellent scrapes and screeches punctuate his speech. You, the probability of navigating your way, of reaching the inner line, was negligible. The primordial truth guards me in my work. And why is it that this variable has yet to be eliminated? A gross misconception common among primitive minds. Your existence is but a statistical error that will soon be corrected. Steel creations designed to serve the designs of truth. Did you see the elegance of their form, their flawless ergonomics, and those are mere shells? True perfection fills them when they are instilled with the spark of life and granted purpose. To bring their wrath upon the head of apostates. Once this army is assembled, but why waste words? You will see for yourself a modicum of the splendor that is in store for the Coronis expanse. The fact Spencer straightens his back and shoulders, you hear a mounting hum as if from some powerful turbines, followed by heavy footsteps and the grinding of metal against metal. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that there's two of them. Oh, yeah, kill your own people. That's up on Heinrix I. Witness designed to carry the glory of the true gods into the darkness of the Coronis expanse. My shepherd has sent me of his iron angels so that his very presence may instill faith and awe in the hearts of his flock. Accept the greatness of the primordial truth united with the might of the new Kiava Gamma and perish. Accept this new sacrifice, sacred truth.
Look upon the Emperor's faithful tremble. The Emperor.
Front line is there. The line here. Back line there.
Rejoice in service. And so shall it be done. I will not be deterred. Actions will speak louder than words. Rejoice in service.
I will do my duty. Victory is imminent. Indeed.
The Emperor commands.
Really, from that close? I should have known. Oh. That didn't last long.
If I must. I am not your Xenos pet monkey. If it serves your cause. This tedium is beneath me.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? If I may?
But of course, Lord Captain. Let's see to it.
I am a navigator, not a servitor. Me, if you insist, Lord Captain.
Yes, go in and even up the numbers. Or immediately get shot.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable. My vow is to serve. Request approved. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Request denied. Running binary override. Ability analysis successful.
The Emperor is on our side. I won't object to it. For the throne's glory. More trouble than it's worth. But of course, Lord Captain.
A tactically sound approach. It will be done.
Pain and hardship, we prove our devotion. Rejoice in service! I can't allow myself to do this. I will not be deterred.
I understand your intent. I deal death with my hands. If it serves your cause.
Actions will speak louder than words. May the Divine's will be done.
If I must. This tedium is beneath me.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? If I may. Another foe painted black. In the name of House Orselio, I shall prevail!
Reduce to dust! At your beck and call. I will do my duty. Victory is imminent.
There we go.
It will be done. At your beck and call.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
I will do my duty.
Request approved.
Okay.
Machine spirits.
Let's see to it. Naturally. Nothing stands against me.
Victory is imminent. Indeed. It will be done. Someone else can do this.
Well, even with their stats a little bit lowered, it's
Flesh means nothing.
still going well.
Rejoice in service. And so it shall be done.
My vow is to serve.
Power resides in the will of the righteous.
I'll put my psychic abilities to use. For the throne's glory. I won't object to it. But of course, Lord Captain. Let's see to it.
You up?
I understand your intent. If it serves your cause. I hear you moving no more. That is beneath me.
Emperor, give me strength. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. Isn't this a job for the as duty demands? Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
That's not the Seneschal's job.
Ooh,
Terminated.
I'll say. That's why I like you, Pascal.
Everyone, step aside. I won't object to it. Let's see to it. But of course, your reckoning is due.
Another level up for the squad. Mars pattern chain axe. Plus 20 to tech use. Fellowship. This. Psychoterminus. Let's go. No. Yeah. Use that ballistic skill. You know, everybody's got fucking boo-boos and owies and... It'd be good to get on a melee character so they can run around. I say we just boost ballistic. Doesn't make sense for her to have Drukari mastery. Always toughness on you, my friend. Double up. He's always got some
Let
kind
the
of psychic
death
effect
guide my
going.
path to glory.
Sharp pain pierces your head and the light dims in your eyes. You smell smoke and burning. You feel a wave of nausea. Your legs buckle and your knees hit the metal floor. In that same moment, the manufacturer shining you disappears in a whirlwind of mist, ash, and gray shadows. Struggling against him, you can barely raise your head to look. Your eyes sting and burn, but through the tears you see a colossal silhouette rising above you. The roaring tempest is unable to shake the mighty figure. Rulon the Cruel. Through the howling of the storm, you hear a new chilling sound, roaring, cruel laughter. The figure advances toward you, and you feel that if it takes just one more step, it will step on you and crush you like a bug. I am the master of those who have been felled by your hand in the halls of the primordial truths. I am Rulon the Cruel. The souls of my followers return to the fount of power they serve, crying out for me to cast my gaze towards the sacrilege. And what do I see? Yet another lackey of the corpse emperor. The giant's voice causes the storm raging around you to die down somewhat, as if the very sound of his voice is enough to make the whirlwind subside. You glance at the huge and notice his chest is a winding azure symbol. The shades of blue seem to glimmer mingle together. Oh, clinging to illusions will do you no good. The rituals have already been performed. The mortals are already singing the litanies of the primordial truth or decorating the sacrificial altars with their flesh. Yava Gamma, as you call it, is already saturated in the nectar of the truth. A fate that awaits all the worlds that would stand all in our way. I want to look upon the one who has disrupted my flock's duties and my master's plans, the warrior for my legion, the fabricator censor. You think of their death as a triumph. However, it is but a minor hindrance on our path. There are other worlds that serve our goals. There are other sources of plastine and adamantine. Revel in your victory. It will change nothing. Nevertheless, the blood in your veins whispers to the spirits that you warrant a closer look. You're a descendant of the road trader whose warrant Conrad Voigtveer sought to obtain. By defiling the relic and binding it to himself without the tethers of the Imperium, he was meant to become my servant. Rogue trader who would do the work of the truth. But then you interfered. Could it be that you wish to gain the true God's favor instead? Do you wish to present the corpse relic to me and serve the truth? Hear your very blood calling, begging you to submit to me. What would be the point of futile defiance? Pitiful insect, you dare. The gust of wind sweeps Erlon's figure away without a trace. The mist around you begins to dissipate, revealing the dark halls of the manufactorum and leaving behind an oppressive sense of powerlessness. That was a close call. For the sake of holy terror, if I had lost a second road trader in such a paltry span of time, my only option would have been to shoot myself out of unending shame. I sensed the presence of another psyker. Someone made contact with you mentally, then tried to harm you with the use of sorcery. I did what I could. You at least appear unharmed. Can you remember what you saw? One of the traitors to the Imperium. I don't think it was he who touched your mind. I wouldn't have had the strength to go up against a psyker from the ranks of those monsters. He might have forced some mortal to do his bidding. Perhaps it was through the same hapless medium that he sensed the deaths of his henchmen. Such indescribable power to have reached out to your mind at such a distance. I see. We can theorize later, although I will say, Ignatius, that his words did not leave much room for interpretation. The mesh around you looks the same as before the vision. Maybe the shadows have gone a little deeper and darker. You dust yourself off and continue on your journey. Yeah, no reason to worry. We're fine. The world's industrial heart has fallen into corruption, but numerous faint Vox signals from the periphery indicate that the planet's small manufacturing clusters survived without succumbing to the heretics. The sacred machines and hollow layers from these abodes have been reverently transposed to the safety of the ship's hold. The fate of Kiabagamba hangs in the balance. Purify and restore. Servants of the Adeptus Ministorum heed the call and begin to assemble a holy crusade to purify. It will take much time and effort to rid out every tendril of corruption lurking in the dark corners of the Manufactorum. We decided the fate. Sure did. Manufactorums have been damaged and tainted. Renowned tech architect of fugitive aristocrat Barabbas Killis is offering to enter rotary service as a planetary steward and restore the world. For generations, the Adeptus Mechanicus have been custodians. Recognizing the value of this treasure, they were willing to play Forge Cathedral on it as a token of sympathy. The end of Blessed Fabricator Sensor Fortron will envision lay out a new, more perfect design for this planet. Next, the amount of profit factor produced, decreasing them by 10% for each point. Reject the flesh, rank 1. Rotary will sign a mutual aid agreed with the Quaestor's Departmentum Munitorum. These outstanding theoreticians of warfare will supervise the repurposing of the plant's manufacturers for the production of weapons and military equipment in the jaws of lathe machines and the wombs of alloy valves. Lowest Plasty will take on its highest and most perfect form, that of a weapon. Now, restoration. Resource produce. Although maybe not. Why is he giving me cursed boots? Do that. I don't trust that they're like, that's the next step. Okay, just checking on make sure everything seems to be up and running. I don't seem to have any dropped frames. It is possible to stream without that happening, apparently. Started. That's our next spot, and then that. Report from the vessel's shrine, a group of unknown assailants had invaded his temple and plundered the incorruptible relics of your ancestors, slaughtering devout worshippers as they went. The high factotum was among the casualties had Master Montag and Mr. Sauerback not arrived in time. Fortunately, Master Danrock survived and remained conscious, I'll be in great pain. He implores you to come to the temple and hear his confession. And so it comes to pass. I performed a reading of his tarot after the morning watch siren, but the visions sent by the Undying One were too indistinct. I saw rivers of blood flowing toward the bones of the dead, and a blurred figure laughing, treading upon the ashes of the fallen. The Undying One desires me to follow the figure's tracks. Thus my hunt begins. Henry, you're out. You do good damage, but I kind of don't like having you with me. No. Sounds good, especially for assassin type.
We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
Master-at-Arms is barking orders. Confessor Adalbert is murmuring a prayer, and the Infernus Master is circling the chapel with a keen eye as watching for a threat. Capella quickly sweeps her gaze over the destruction before focusing on the bloody footprints that stretch from the ruins of the reliquary. The high factotum's velvet coat is streaked with blood, and Janus himself is deathly pale. Metal K officer is working on the black gunshot wound in his chest, and Janus faintly grunts with every touch. He focuses his eyes on you with a tremendous effort. Forgive me for not greeting your lordship with a bow. I must tell you, Nemesis has stolen the great relic. Serfs in the red Hevscars burst into the temple and start shooting. Their leader made for the relic, the remains of honorable rogue traders brought here from the mutant sullied crypt, and realized that the sacred ashes of your ancestors were about to fall into the filthy hands of a heretic, one intent on desecrating the glorious dynasty. No, that could not be allowed to happen. I blocked his path. The bastard allowed himself a vile insult to give me, which I am obliged to admit, but I did not give in to the provocation. I was hoping to buy myself some time. Then this so-called Nemesis started reviling the customs of the ship, raiding its officers and enforcers before insulting the very name of your lordship yourself. I threw my glove in his face and demanded a duel, but the honorless villain just shot me. He laughed at me, the depraved creature. And then he committed sacrilege by stealing the relic and shattering the sarcophagus. Forgive me, your lordship. I have failed to preserve the sacred ashes of your ancestors. The reliquary has been brutally smashed, and the bed on which the sacred ashes of past traders and their servants once rested is now empty. I insist. He called you a ghoul who sits on a throne of bones, feasting on the raw flesh of his servants. Proud to serve the dynasty. The papers, your lordship. Have the clerk double-check the freight bills. I did not have time to get the seals. My will is in the left-hand drawer. He is losing a lot of blood. I advise you to hurry. Master Dungrat should be on the Shurigan's tables as soon as possible. I am holding on, your lordship. Hurry now. What matters now is that you recover the relic. May the Emperor protect your... Apologies, lordship, but we're tasting Master Dunrock Ray. He is unable to tell you anything more at the present. Every second of delay could cost him his life. Chirurgians? Heinrix watches as the limp body of the factotum gets carried away and chews grimly on the eye stick that has appeared between his teeth. What do we have so far? Master Dunrock is on his deathbed, all the attackers are already dead or have absconded with the sacred relic, and the witnesses all agree on this one thing. Nemesis and his accomplices came out of nowhere and struck suddenly. Only the throne knows where we can find these bastards now. We will find them. We will turn this vessel inside out if we must. There is nowhere even a void rat can. There is no need. The Blood Whisperers will lead us to Nemesis. Yes and no. His tarot guided me here and told me of the evil that lurked in the shrine, but beyond that, the bloody path curiously tread by the raiders will reveal the truth. With all respect, Spinner, the enforcers already questioned all the witnesses and compiled an extensive list of evidence, none of which tell us anything about how or where and the troublemaker calling himself Nemesis might have escaped to. The blood is drawn in a pattern of retribution. The one who spilt it appeared later. They move swiftly and furiously numb to their own wounds. An enforcer who was drawn to the gunfire and witnessed a sacrilege, probably. As for this pattern, it was made in fury and desperation. The one who left it was wounded, but they did not flee. They fought back while they could, and then they retreated into the darkness. Into the darkness of the maintenance tunnels, hidden within the walls of the shrine. The technical corridors extend hundreds of meters in different directions. Nemesis and his men must be familiar with the tunnels and possess either a map or a guide. Without a clear trail, the enforcers risk getting lost and wasting valuable time, not to mention the fact that those narrow tunnels are perfect for an ambush. Tunnels will only answer the question on how he left. Now Death will tell us where he was heading. As if in a trance, Cabela leans over her body and peers into its eyes. He stinks of smoke, the smoke of singed coveralls, vile eye sticks, burnt sacred unguents, and charred meat. He slips a pale hand along the dead man's skin and sneaks it under sleeve as a curl, which she pushes back to reveal a fresh burn bandaged with a torn scrap of shirt. Your wounds hold the answer. You dressed it carefully. Not inside the shrine. Before that, something struck you, ripped the tissue apart, burned you, turned your hand into a worthless lump. It was not fire, no. The fury of conductive charge, it has marked you, heretic. I recognize your wound, for I myself have encountered it on those I take to the other side with the DaFlibMan drive chambers. No, Domin Ignatius, you must stay. You don't want that Nemesis challenge, and those we hunt know you by sight. It will frighten away the prey, and we will lose the trail until the next tragedy occurs. I will go to the plasma drive chambers alone. I will track down the false champion and all who serve him, and I will fabric the grounds for your own hunt. Out of the question. An enforcer squad would certainly scare out the vermin, but I am not letting you go alone, servants of death. You and I will go to the chambers together, and together we will bring who have dared to insult the Lord Captain. I'm going to. I have a couple of good friends in the plasma drive chambers, the noisy kind who know everything about everyone. Convincing them shouldn't be difficult, especially if I pull a few flavors. It'll be the three of us then. What a company. So be it. But not like this. Much like your faces, your guises are too conspicuous. Of course, we will procure regular work clothes for us. We will carry only inconspicuous weapons that we can hide easily in our tool bags. It will help us blend in the crowd. Before I depart to hunt, I ask the Doman to bless me. I pledge to never leave your side, yet the hunt demands that I do just that. Grant me this permission to perform the ceremony of twinning. When your people have taken their leave under the guise of the Undying One, we will begin this rite. Write a blessing for the sacred hunt. Within, the dumb cast their shadow over the path to carnage. Under your benediction, I will strike harder and tread more softly. With your permission, Lord Captain, the Infernus Master and I will take our leave now and set out to prepare for the descent into the chambers. Dare not intrude, your lordship. Sit down now. Domin Ignatius, and listen. Let the ceremony of twinning begin. Using a finely honed blade, Cabela carves an intricate symbol onto the floor. She then produces a small bundled wrap in incense-laden parchment and sets it alight. You are my Domin, I am your blade, and I am honed by your blessing. My arms are strong, while your will is strong. As long as the Undying One hears your prayers, my feet will go unheard. Her blade kisses her palm and dark blood begins to trickle and spread over the bottom of the ritual cup that has just now appeared in her hands. With our blood, with our will, we shall spin a scarlet web, the symbol of the hunt. May it herald our praised design. You push the dagger into your hand, you suddenly feel how heavy your eyelids have become. Your heartbeat slows inside your chest. Your words linger, then rush through your mind in a deluge. The heavy scent of incense envelops you and makes your head spin. The pain gives way to a burning sensation as Cabela grasps your hand and squeezes it over the ritual cup. But this new discomfort is quickly replaced again, this time by a dull numbness and the faint warmth of blood from your open wound. The twinning is the blood that I have made to my lord. Cabela dips her fingers into the spilled blood and traces a symbol, first on her own forehead, then on yours. It appears to resemble a blade that is cutting through an intricate knot. Anoint with your blessed domain and may the ceremony of twinning commence. Blaze flame burns before your eyes, no matter how hard you try to focus, dispel the vision. In place of her face, you see a death mask, a broken skull with hollowed eye sockets. One who follows the thread of the web fights not out of rage, but with a mind as cold as stone. Nevertheless, rage can become a potent weapon in the hand of a punisher. I understand, Dominic Natius. I accept your blessing. Your body cannot accompany us with this chase, Domin, but if your spirit, there is nothing the spirit cannot do. The twinning is complete. You are now bound by blood oath. Think of me while I hunt, and as will I think of you. Become a thought flowing through my mind. If the Undying One is gracious to us, he will send you dreams, and in those dreams you will see me. If he is more gracious still, those dreams will be truthful. You receive a faint smile from beneath the death mask. Cabela hands you the cup and begins tracing her finger around the bottom while whispering a prayer. Watch now, Domin. What does thy seeing eye behold in the converging patterns of blood? You see shifting images in the blood, a spider crafting a fine web, blurred shadows that could resemble either a swarm of void rats or an enraged hound. Cross blades, a card of the Emperor's Tarot, but as soon as your gaze lingers on any of them, reality bleeds through the fluid shapes. Soon your spirit will be able to follow me. I will bid the servants to carry your body to your chambers where you will not be disturbed. Wait in silence and safety. For me, the hunt has begun. Kira's footsteps fade away, melting into the same impenetrable darkness in which your consciousness is extinguished. Rituals for our girl, we'll do it. Pale air, oppressive noise. The hum and whir of machinery drown out all thoughts. This place rings with tension. Is it the powerful energy coursing through the cables, or have the wails of the workers merged into a cacophony of indignant whispers and desperate prayers? Lost, mired in petty troubles, unmindful of duty, their voices creak as if covered in rust, and their eyes are dimmed by the endless drudgery and lack of light here on the working decks of the Domin's Great Ark. I have seen it before. In these murky depths, people become creatures all too ready to devour each other for worldly gains. Fleeting pleasures or imaginary freedom from obligating born from the abyss of spiritual emptiness, the Undying One punishes them through me. Disgusting mutations, abominations, reflections of vice are born in these shadows, and I will be their doom. The thread shakes, the web is taut. I step silently, may the great hunt begin. I taste the air, the scent of fresh dye with the subtle note of sparks. This is new, pleasant. The upper decks reeks of luxury, but here I feel comfortable. There is something else. This is it. I recognize the smell. Unguent, Idaho, and burnt meat. Just like inside the shrine, the time has come to spin the scarlet web. To find a little enemy, I must listen. Hail, exhale, inhale. The rhythmic beats of engines and pumps. That is the ship's breathing. That is the ship's heartbeat. It is strange that I feel at home among the workers of the lower docks who pass their time like the living dead. Warmth spread through my chest. I like to think it is a connection with which the Undying One bound mine and the Doman's fate together. He has blessed us, and we hunt as one. In the twilight of the chamber, barely illuminated by flickering candlelight, I become like them, the lost mired servants. They become unwilling allies in my hunt. Their hopelessness, their desperation, their thirst for survival will become tools for my use. No, they're talking about you. Footsteps, two are kind, storming familiar gates. Those are the Doman servants. I'd not be surprised to call it the set on the trail of Nemesis alone. Spinners are Erica. We're just another soul to them, a gift to offer death. Steel Mistress's voice is hard and cold, like her well. I can see in her eyes that she dislikes me. She is wary. And so should we be. For we serve the Doman, not one another. Does this remind you of anyone at all, Jocasta? This man is enamored with fire. Even his wards sound full of biting flames, and he himself enjoys playing with fire. Too much so. There she is. Welcome to the Plasma Drivers, esteemed holy assassin. Exchanged pleasantries later. Lieutenant Godierda is on duty in this compartment. I've ordered her to gather information on all the workers who wear red scarves and who have recently left the bay. This is pointless. The red scarf is not proof of guilt, it's merely a symbol. It could be a trap. I need to find her. I will watch the enforcer and those who are watching her in turn. Your enforcer knows nothing about life in this compartment. I guarantee it. I have a better source of information. A good friend of mine who knows a lot about delicate matters. It'd be easy to get him to talk. He's terrified of pain and death. Only the faithless may fear death. I will not trust him. Let him trust me so that his trust may become a snare for my hunt. I cut them off with a gesture. Their methods of hunting are not mine, but I take the grain of truth from their words and weave it into my plan. I need to provoke them into making a move. This enforcer answers the Steel Mistress' symbol of order and my obedience to these chambers. She is standing in the way. When she disappears, my enemies will believe it is safe to strike, and that will be a costly mistake. I feel them lurk in the crowd, my enemies. They are cautious. I must find them and let them believe their luck. Then they will shed their masks. Then I will take them down. Flaming Voice relies on a talker, one who keeps no secrets and fears pain. An unreliable vessel is bad for holding secrets, but good for spilling them. Through him, I will whisper lies to the enemy. They look at me in silence. They do not understand yet, but that matters little. I am on the hunt.
No sleep, no rest. Only duty, only death.
Long time no see, Spindle. Tell me, what does silence taste like? Are they using a secret code? Without Flaming Voice, he would never even speak to me. Everybody knows silence doesn't taste like anything. If you want to earn rations, you better start dealing in words. He speaks casually, but his voice is slimy and slippery. His eyes are as dirty as an oil-stained garment. The impudence is gaze in words when he turns them to us. He is unclean, and he knows it. He is unrepentant. That's a funny look, Heinrich, and you have a funny looking company. Are you here to sell or to buy? Before you answer, remember the first rule. Every word has a price. Are you bargaining for information with this lowlife now? It's duty of every sort to aid the rogue trader and his associates freely and willingly. Oh boy, here it comes. Who's that with you? An enforcer and a spinner. Do you want me dead? If anyone seems to be talking to you, they'll snack my neck, so off you go. What is this feeling? So calm. Fine, ask whatever you want, but then leave. My reputation cost me a lot of blood, and I didn't earn it to have it trampled in the dust because you people happened to stop by. There's a bunch of workers in the far corner who now gather between every shift, whispering to each other. They don't invite me. They say I talk too much. Well, if they're scared of my tongue, that means they have something to hide. Of course, everyone's talking about Nemesis. Sure, the foundry and the chapel were big, but he's been helping people all over. A lot of folk are sticking with him now. You can knock my teeth out if I'm lying. Don't got many of those left anyhow, but I'll tell you this. Even if someone finds him, won't rat him out. You're a liar and manipulator, peddling other people's secrets and not knowing how to keep your mouth shut. You will welcome the bait, sowing confusion among the minions of Nemesis who hope to wait out the lockdown. They think they have enough time? I will deprive them of that confidence. Really, I see. If that's wanted, then can I go? Go, Stain. Be my herald. It's difficult to admit, but I do share the Master-at-Arms' indignation. We came here to get information about the traitors, not reveal our secrets. But for them to take the bait, it must be compelling. Yes, I see. See you guys!
Follow the threads. The web beckons.
An old burn spread across her body in a scarlet blotch, a look of contempt, a heavy baton covered in blood and symbolizing boundless power. Like a fierce leather whip, she lashes with both her hand and her gaze. What are you looking at, you beggars? You finish your shift, you go to the barrack. You start your shift, you check in with the foreman and get to work before Motilda comes to pat you on the back. And my Motilda, I presume, is wonderful, not at all intimidating baton on your belt. I guess her disguise is working, but her brother not spend the next few watches in medbay because of a misunderstanding. His breathing has quickened. Flaming voice always makes jests when he is nervous or irritated. Do enforcers infuriate him? Apprentice Master. Master at Arms. Apologies for not recognizing you, ma'am. Gladiator, we are conducting an inquest. Answer the Spanish questions. I hope your report will be useful. Day after day, she watches the surf labor away, exhausting their last vestiges of strength, and there is no compassion in her eyes. They are simply a resource she is commanded to use and then discard. She hates them, but because she blames them for her pain, her wounds. The group of workers wearing red scarves was seen occurring just after the attack on the shrine. The foreman stated they were at work on the freight line, no gunpowder on their clothes, no fresh wounds. Too many of them have started wearing red masks and it muddles the trail, but we also found some red scars and bloody rags in one of the shredders only shortly after. We sealed off the exit and reduced the air supply to the maintenance zones to the absolute minimum. Now you can't stay in there longer than a few minutes without passing out. There's no way the bastards could have left the plasma chambers. They're definitely in here somewhere. The workers hide their eyes, but you can hear the murmurs echoing through the bay. There is an impotent rage in their hearts directed at Whip, for she is the embodiment of the very order they despise. But why did they not realize that the enforcer is a shield as much as a lash? Some of the people I escorted to the other side looked at me the same way. In the past, I do not understand, but now. The delayed people see spinners performing their duty to the Undying One, or enforcers performing theirs to the Domin as monsters. Do I sense the touch of his will? The Undying Emperor wishes to bestow revelation upon me in this trying hour. Let his terror show me the way. A wave of epiphany sweeps my thoughts away, pulling me in a blessed trance. My fingers move of their own accord over the sacred deck and draw a card. It is the martyr. I see a tear of blood wash over the pale features of the image, and they shed, becoming love's face. Important from him. The Undying One blesses me to take Whip. The minions of Nemesis fear her. When her soul is delivered to the Undying One, the traitors will feel invulnerable. They will crawl out of their holes and fall into my web. I cannot sever which thread with the blade, for the search will recognize me as one of the spinners and lose all courage. The spark of the machine spirits in the plasma drive chambers has already claimed the lives of many. I would use this, and thus the web will be spun.
Death walks with me. Another step, another thread. An offering of blood.
Now, why does it have to be Gadir? I don't know why the Emperor ordered to kill you, but we must see it that she did not die in vain, and just like that, she's gone. She would never know what she died for. Meanwhile, the spinners go on, passing whatever judgment they deem.
No sleep, no rest, only duty, only death.
The lay people are harder to get on par with sweltering bodies, filthy and battered by the enforcer's batons, reeking of sweat and disease. Their hearts pump blood faster and faster through bulging veins as two of them send red-hot sparks into the air with their words like a hammer and anvil. Your plane appears to have worked, Spinner. The air itself is charged with something. It is not a conductor charge. The surge, they're stirring. Lay people are frightened, angry. They feel the impunity that sprouted like a weed upon wisdom minds. They feel the threat crushing them from the upper decks, both imminent and inevitable. The enforcers are dead, and punishers from the upper decks will soon follow Nemeside's trail. This is our chance. We need to act. This is it. I can sense that the prey is close. They have little fear of giving themselves away anymore. They need a spark to ignite the flame, something that would convince Nemeside followers that they are strong, and that the Dolan servants are diminished. They tell us this is how it's meant to be, just because they were born on the upper decks and we down below in the darkness. Is it really the God Emperor that will that they grow fat on the fruits of our labors, revel in luxury while we die without water and medicine? His voice rumbles and the lay people listen, their hands clench in a fist. No matter how hard you work, they will wring everything out of you and give you nothing. Who allowed this to happen? The rogue traitor. His name be damned. A Grok's on the throne, a tyrant throwing our bones into the furnace of his protectorate. Shut your foul mouth, void dog. Flaming voice. No, it's too soon. I understand your anger, but you must temper it. What did you say about the Lord Captain? The one who gives you work, food, and shelter, you insolent deadbeats. I can see why you gathered here and not let you start another rebellion. Why are you reaching for your boxcaster? If you do not disperse, I'll give the order to prevent the plasma turns. You have 5 seconds. 4. The tyrant's lackey. If you do this, you'll die with us, you madman. To protect the Lord Captain and the crew? I see you've never met an Infernus before. A small throwing blade flies on my opponent and draws a scarlet line across Anvil's neck. If I had wished it, she would be dead, but she continues to breathe and to bleed. And to scream furiously, she looks at me. The rogue traitor's assassins are here. Look, they wanted to kill me. Find the assassins. The spark is lit. Lay people press in from all sides, pushing and shoving. Their faces are ablaze with terror and rage, and a violent energy boils from the massive bodies. The power will be difficult to contain. Crime people are dangerous people. The hunt was meant to go differently, but such is the Undying One's will. One voice rises above the others, a violin of a bearded technomat, low as the roar of a furnace. Furnace smells of sweat and sacred unguents. He is not afraid, he merely pretends to be. Beneath the shutters of terror, I hear excitement. Do we deserve to be executed, my brothers and sisters? Have we not labored with the sweat of our brow? Have we not perished from the outbursts of raging machine spirits? Why do they call us rebels? Why are we being punished? I turn my thoughts to him, for it is his people that are standing before me. What will he do, the one whose threat I know with my blood? Already, you're riders in everything but name, and you ask why you have been shown no trust. My words frighten them, wound them, because they are just, and that makes their anger swell all the more. Why are you surprised? Have the officers treated us otherwise? A new voice, sandpaper wrap, tears through the rumbling of the crowd. Its owner is raggedy and filthy. Feverish gleam burned in his eyes. His words inflamed the people's minds like rot feasting upon a wound. Brock cries out markedly. That's because you're afraid of them, but they're not afraid of you. They have the almighty baton. All you have is the source of power that feeds the whole ship. Why should they take you for granted? It serves you right, you cowards. Ugly shrieks fills the venom upon the sweating faces as they slowly draw closer and closer. Take a deep breath, then something stupefying, noxious, and lush. There is no order but something subtle and foul. Here's the same stench as rot. Skinny and scrawny, leers with his gape mouth. He has a body who has nothing. His body is wasted away from disease. His hands are 5 fingers short. His fate is sealed. And that makes him convincing. Everyone knows he has nothing to gain for himself, and thus no reason to lie. His poverty is his armor. Address the one who commands these people who possess the authority to execute and pardon. Am I to hear his thoughts? You see, they're already itching to kill us, and we haven't even done anything. They're not afraid of us. They'll not commit rebellion. The law and the Emperor are on our side. He always does for slender and supple like a rapier. If they want to crush us with fear or death, let them kill us. It will only prove our righteousness. The ringing call is a command pressing itself into their house. The foul stench is almost sacrilege, almost knocks me off my feet. That tentatively elusive scent of rage is more than a stench, it is a tool, a weapon of destructible trio which they use to influence the minds of laity, invisibly intoxicating their minds. The crowd reeks of flowering treason. I delve down to its real as what it is that rejects his will so. His sacred privilege is being attacked. He alone chooses who may journey to him, but these three, instigators, they are determined to make his decision for themselves, dragging the souls of all around into the fires of violence with them. She is fragile, but there is a strength in her, an authority taken for granted and understood by everyone. She is clearly ready to command, with legions willing to die for such maidens, beautiful and resolute as they are. She carries no banner in hand, for she herself is the banner. But the noise around drowns out my own thoughts and stops me from focusing on his image. Crowd does not answer. They do not hear me. The sacred promise of death no longer moves them, for they are falling under the enemy's spell. They surround, threatening, pointing fingers, current. They dare not strike, not yet, but already their enormous bulk presses down on me as the smell of the blood in the air grows thicker by the minute. Bear it no longer. The blades in my hands sing and the bloody streaks are across astonished faces. I am done speaking and exhorting. I merely dance on the thread I have spun. I bestow death and blessed wounds. I catch a glimpse of rapier's cloven face and furnace's open bellies. Rod's severed hand falls at my feet and so just flees, howling. I dance and breathe so freely. Did not go the way I had planned. The smell of blood lingers in the air like the stench of impending defeat. Two bodies have sprawled before me. I have severed their threads. Still, the third blasphemer has managed to escape, but his disembodied hand also lies on the floor. Useless meat. Very little. The faint traces of biomutation that twisted their bodies, the foul stench of corruption emanating from their meat, the deformed, strangely colored brains in their crushed skulls that spawned the heresy of sedition. They huddled in the corners, ashamed of their own subservience. They tried to convince themselves that the blood they so foolishly split would absolve them. But they know it is not enough. The threads have not been cut. I realize with astonishment that they are standing close to me. Flaming voices furiously reproaching all those who had only recently joined the revolt, while Steel Richard booms like a siren, shaking her maul and threatening punishment. They are useless to the hunt now. A thrill runs through the strands of my consciousness. Is this Doman? Can I truly feel him again, or am I imagining? I need to concentrate. I gaze at the puddles of blood and patterns they form. I see a labyrinth. The Undying One has given me a sign. My hand finds the sealed case in which his tarot card resides. It is time for a divination in the blood of the dead. It will reveal to me the name of their unholy master. Thoughts of Domin creep up from the shadows and leap up my focused mind like a bird. They claw at it, robbing me of my concentration. Why? Must not think about him. Must not wish for him to be near me right now. Whisper silent prayer, and a capsule soaked in blessed stimulus slips under my tongue. The fog of enlightenment hides Domin from my sight. A stream of blood gushes across the floor, and his tarot card lies on the carmine sweater. Everyone in silence stare at me. I'm reading the omen. The Hound. I gaze at the card and its depiction of the Astra Militarum, an armored vehicle that bears that formidable name. The pursuit of truth, sacrifice, and victory. This is me, and I am on the right track. The Harlequin, inverted, lies manipulation, shadow play blocking my path, but is a lie exposed, a deception that must be revealed. The Preacher, a man who carries an idea and proclaims it, but who is it? Nemesis, one of his supporters, somebody already slain or someone still alive. The divination is uncleared, and so I draw a fourth card. It is dangerous to ask more of the Undying One, but I must know. The Akia. His holy image watches me from within the crowd, and my heart grows frigid with the knowledge of what it represents. The Undying One has manifested as omen in the traitor's blood. The hunt that has begun will be completed by the unveiling of a great deception. Our enemy is elusive because he has a powerful ally, one who espouses faith in the Emperor on this vessel. The ship's confessor is in league with the Nemesis. He will be the next prey. I should be thinking about the hunt, yet my thoughts now lie only with the moment when I will stand before the Dome once more and tell him what I have seen. Will he be proud of me? Will he be pleased? This is wrong. Of course I'm not gonna berate her, that was me! Wrath of St. Drusus. Fairly modern pistol. Last way. Oh. Those are probably DLC stuff I should have collected, but didn't. Always be bathing. Look at the grenades on my belt. Our classes hand together in business-like manner, and there's an ominous glint in his unaugmented eye. Lord Captain, what a fortunate rarity to find you at leisure. Since you have nothing else to occupy your time, I will give you a lecture on the history of House von Valancius. I would not be doing my duty if I did not start from the beginning. Enlighten me. As I was saying, we shall begin with the origins of your noble liege. Kevlar provides you with the daunting amount of information, but you still learn quite a bit about your dynastic history, whether you want to or not. There's enough for today, your lordship. Permit to leave you while you contemplate what you've learned. She's this way.
Domin, I have spun a web of crimson in the plasma drive chambers and ensnared Nemesis' accomplices with it. It is done. My divination has revealed that your confessor, the sower of faith aboard this vessel, is stained with deceit. The Undying One has spoken. His time has come.
All right.
I I have been awaiting your questions, Domin. Ask away. Perhaps what you saw was induced by the ritual essence. Perhaps it was the Undying One's will that made you see. I too sensed a thread between us. Indeed, there were times when I could almost sense you with me. It was a comforting feeling. No, one of the false champion's lackeys has escaped. I deserve no forgiveness. The Vizier taught us that there are many like us throughout the Imperium who spill blood in his name. Death cultists, as they call us. He said that no two death cults are the same, just as there are no two identical stars in the void. I will tell you about the blood-spun web, but I cannot speak on behalf of all death cults. The tenets are knowledge, an art that is passed down from one generation of the blood-spun web to the next. Even so, there are spinners who will never fully comprehend this knowledge in the time allotted to them by the Undying One. The tenets dictate how one follows the thread of life, but they are also the thread itself, from first breath to last. The tenets cannot be taught, they must be lived. Only then will you understand. I use blood to read his sacred cards and hear the whisper of the Undying One. His tarot is not an answer, but a question I ask of the universe. And the universe answers with questions of its own. In this sacred communion, I perceive hundreds of possible outcomes. They are all true, and yet they are only visions. I know what will come to pass, and yet I do not. Lords and wretches are equal before death. If such is the Undying One's will, I will guide you to him, Domin. I'm here, Domin.
Easty girl.
All of my thoughts are of you, Domin. May the
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating Right here? Of course. As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them. You are shrewd indeed. My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say the Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relate this tale seep with disgusting green hubris. I think Colleen Orselio was simply a skilled navigator. By all means, I have enjoyed your
Alright. Augustin. Alright, let's fight. I don't care if they're heretics. We fight heretics. On principle, we fight heretics.
Today we claim victory or die trying.
Let's cruise it.
Lock on and launch!
Oh my god, I've been doing this so wrong.
Set course with all haste. Deliver their demise! Show them the fury of our macro cannons! I want to hear the macro cannons roar!
Alright, let's try blowing these guys up.
Unleash a barrage of destruction! I want to hear the macro cannons roar! Unleash the power of our lance batteries! We have a destination to reach. Let the macro cannons sing their deadly litany!
Big turn.
Deliver their demise! I want to hear the macro cannons roar! Unleash a barrage of destruction! Helmsman, navigate us to the designated coordinates.
Now that I know how the abilities work and I'm using them, this is going much better.
Bring doom to our enemies. Let the macro cannons sing their deadly litany. We have a destination to reach.
With husband under their fire, do something!
Alright. Forced them to turn and then I ran them. It did do some damage to me, so I can't be doing that a bunch.
Full speed ahead. Send our enemies to the void! We have a destination to reach. I want to hear the macro cannons roar! Full ahead. Deliver their demise. Unleash a barrage of destruction! I want to hear the macro cannons roar!
Alright. The ram was probably unnecessary and did a lot of damage for not very good reason, but he killed it. As always, killing heretics. I mean, that's the name. Oh, and we got some leftover scraps. We didn't even, like, waste any. Always need more Promethium. I just thought you should know the Lady Navigator successfully guided the ship out of the warphold and left the Sanctum Navis. But instead of going to her chamber, she's headed for your ass. Perhaps you will want to prepare for your mating. Okay. Greetings, Lord Captain. I meant to inform you that our journey through the warp went well. My navigator's gaze pierced the light of the Astronomicon beyond the tumultuous wave of the Sea of Souls, albeit with some difficulty. The crew and the Master Helmsman conducted themselves adequately. My instructions during the jump helped them find their focus and guide the ship without any serious deck incidents. Pleased me to hear that I am equally satisfied with your manner of command. I see you have many compelling works of art here, but few paintings. I, for one, do enjoy passing what little spare time I have with the brush in hand. Why, just recently I created a beautiful voidscape inspired by our travels together. I cannot show it to you quite yet, as it is still only exists in my mind's eye, but the imagery, oh, if only you could see. Do you truly wish that it would? But I must admit, I have never painted for anyone other than myself before. You'll have to forgive me, Lord Captain, but I do not think it is such a good idea. These chambers are in need of masterpieces, while I paint merely for my own pleasure. One other thing I meant to tell you is that I'm quite well read, and that my knowledge is not limited to navigator's craft. I am versed in many other scholarly fields, such as centenary history of the Calexis system, or navigators are taught to familiarize themselves with the war from childhood. If you require my help, that is to say my counsel. My knowledge is extensive, so please do not hesitate to ask. She fills with the lock of her hair while still proudly holding her chin high, avoiding your gaze at the same time. Oh, I might have messed that up. See.
Words cannot describe how boring. Right here? Of course, I have enjoyed.
Yeah. The Captain and Master Helmsman on the line and can report that the quest for the cap world of the Von Lancius dynasty is finally at end. Dargonis is straight ahead. We have received countless greetings. Your subjects would like to know when their master will be arriving. Merchant captain has taken refuge in the orbital docks of Dragonis Race to send you priceless welcoming gifts, hoping to buy your favor and to make an impression. I'm coming home. I will be pleased to accompany you during your visit so I can personally introduce Achilles Galander, a servant of the Golden Throne who previously attended Lady Theodora Dargonis. I am counting on your benevolence. Yeah. How did this world look before it was enveloped in this fire shroud? Was it your ancestors in Longtalk who disgorged? Why are you blaming us? I didn't do it. Oh, I should probably talk to her too. I forgot that there was a relationship in there. Some ill-considered act. Automatically blaming us. Trust ship bearing the markings of Adeptus Mechanicus is approaching the ship. Magos Tarzus delegation intends to board our ship and gain an audience. This is exactly how they phrased it. He intends, not humbly requests. Many of my tech comrades neglect diplomacy when interacting with the laity. It is regrettable. Will be done, Lord Captain. Requesting permission to be present at the audience granted to my tech comrades. Yeah, of course. What a motley crew we got going. Group of dressed in the crimson, the priest of Mars walk towards you. Their gazes are fixed on Pascal. You know that the group is not monolithic. Some of its members are more heavily armed and follow large tech priests clad in battle armor. Others keep a respectful distance and cast inquiring looks at their own leader, whose hunched posture belies his tall frame. Despite the hood hiding his face, you recognize him as Opticon 22, whom you encountered on footfall. The enormous tech priest points his hand at Pascal, lets out a booming roar not allowed to factory line. Makes your very bones vibrate. Herald servo skulls marked with the emblem of the cog follow in his wake. They blare shrilly. Thou shalt not suffer a heretic in thy forge, for rust begets rust. Pascal Hanuman, in the name of the Adeptus Mechanicus, you are under arrest. Not turns to you. Diplomacy mode engaged. Announcement. The Adeptus Mechanicus offer their apologies for. Would like to inform you the necessity of conducting an operation to detain, arrest, terminate a faulty unit on the rogue trader. You identify the rare armor. The enormous tech priest is wearing a secutor's plated mechanized suit. It carries the imprints of many battles and has markings that announce its statue as a relic. Some of the armor's damage looks fairly severe to the point of endangering its operation. The slivers of flesh were revealed under the steel are marked with terrible chemical burns. Every now and then, convulsions shake the test-freak body, and a painful sound hiss coming from his box. The tall tech priest who spoke to you looks more peaceful and makes a point of not drawing his weapon. There is an air of concern about the way he frequently glances over his fellows, scrutinizing his condition. This heretic is accused of stealing personal identification codes, spreading text heresy on the word of Kiavagama, and attempting to attempt the life on the servant of the Omnissiah. Dapping roar from Tech Priest Fox makes you grimace in pain. You touch your ear and notice blood on your fingers. The faulty unit will be removed, and the name of the Omnissiah I condemn you. Lightning flashes around the warmer's armor. Agony resounds in the flare of his Vox alarm. The cautious speaks quietly and coldly. You are malfunctioning, Tech Comrade. I deem your logical conclusions questionable. The statement is false. Tech brother Tarzus Hanuman is willingly undergoing holy torment deterioration, which, however, does not critically affect his cognitive capacity for data analysis. Unit calling itself Pascal Newman, we have informed that it implicates you having learned that you are a member of the retinue, a maintenance specialist in the service, or rogue trader von Valantius. We have come here with the goal of meeting you, intercepting you, engaging you in combat. It has suggested the unit which used Magos Explorator Newman's identification code performed an unauthorized upgrade on the planetary Voxer and introduced data deemed to be scrap code into its operation. This fact points to the unit's criminal complicity with the heretic Cubist Delphim. Husker flies firmly, his Vox cracking with a hint of indignation. Deny these charges. I never plotted against my tech comrade. My cognitive purity Voxes were never distorted. My unique identification code was never stolen. I am the true Magos Explorator Hanuman, and I am not guilty. False witness. Negative. Upon completing a sanctification procedure, Tech Brother Tarzas vowed modified his engrammatics augments algorithms in order never to desecrate, slowly tarnish his mouthbox kind of process with flesh speak. Mine is a pure and binary tongue that preserves only what is true and shuns scrap data. Request approved. Ready to work in cooperative mode. Tarzas gives you a haughty look and lets out a howl of wrath. Archiving. Tech Brother Tarzas opposes lay participation in the investigation. Search for the truth. The unit Opticon 22 advises in favor of the House Wonderland's representative's participation request. Request for cooperation reviewed and accepted. I request Tech Brother Tarzas consent to the co-participation of representatives of the Von Valantius dynasty in the investigation proceedings. A sacrilegious conspiracy. I refuse help from laypersons. I am a cog of the Deus Mechanicus that grinds down corruption. I will carry out the sentence immediately. Pascal freezes, but green sparks light up his visor. He extends a hand towards Tarzas and replies in a clanging voice, "Let the cycle be discontinued." Whereas Pascal's words are coming both from his own Vox and Tarzas. Then every sensor in the executioner battle harness lights up at once, blindingly, and the wounded armored Leviathan lets out a deafening roar of pain. Attention. Priority notification. Service units of the Capital Throat Supply Line are authorized to confront the rogue trader. Command. Retreat and reinitiate negotiations. I will wreak punishment upon you in the name of the Deus Mechanicus. He won't.
I will cast you into eternal darkness!
Front line. Mid line. Back line.
Rejoice in service.
Making me fight in my own home.
The Emperor commands.
Trust me. Caught by the web. The shadows. My blade whispers your name. Caught by the web. Trust me.
I will not be deterred.
am not your Xenos pet, monkey.
And nobody said you were.
This tedium is beneath. Ancestors, guide me. I understand your intent.
Skitarius.
As the tenants demand. Let your soul be purged. I shall not. The shadows will see it done.
You can try. Yeah. What happens when you try?
Be careful not to cross my gaze. Isn't this a job for the serfs? I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. If I may?
At your beck and call.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Running binaric override. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. My vow is I venerate you, machine spirits.
Victory is imminent. At your beck and call. Indeed.
High momentum.
Rejoice in service! I am but a vessel for the higher purpose.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? Me? I am a navigator. Another foe painted black. If I may, try to die with grace, at least. That is foolishness.
If I must. If it serves your cause. This tedium is beneath me. I am not your Xenos pet.
This goes against the tenets. My blade whispers your name. Come, the other side awaits.
They didn't want to listen. Pressing cessation of hostilities. The unit that has called itself Tarsus Heinrix is dead has been disabled. This material assets beyond restoration or reused as spare parts. Was not in his box. Despite his concession, he was a servant. I also regret having a negative assessment of this event. The Adeptus Mechanic has still accused the unit identifying itself as Pascal Hahnemann of criminal theft of a unique identification code. Unlike Tech Brother Tarsus, I am not authorized to immediately execute the unit, but neither am I authorized to drop the inquiry. There are no apostates among us. The piercing voice from the box that dismal burned in Tarsus' thunderous roar. Tech Brother Tarsus and the machine spirit that lived in his battle harness succumbed to the suffering that beset them. Judgment was rash and erroneous. Now their torment is over. I declare them martyrs and am requisitioning Tarsus and Newman's neuroaugmentic for the purpose of preserving his blessed memory. An astonished tech priest looks on. Pascal leans over the slain man's body and extracts the augmentic from his skull. His movements are as precise as they are respectful. Pascal's got this. But you was more powerful and majestic. You saw the agony your tech brother Tarsus was in. His unbridled pain spurred faith, intimidated you, yet you were silenced. Reverence stopped you from raising your voices to proclaim that the machine sphere with which his mind had merged was morbidly afflicted. The imperative of reverence has paralyzed your will, and you watch the tragedy unfold in silence. The sixth universal law states that comprehension is the true path of knowledge. Yet the procedural cycle has robbed you of your comprehension. Therefore, let the cycle be discontinued. The decline as the Opticon's 22 knee presses into the floor, crimson hooded heads about. Let the cycle be discontinued. The radiant light pouring out of Pascal's vice grows dimmer. Static creeps back into his voice. Let the cycle be discontinued, Techburn. Request denied. The Kappa Threat Supply Line delegation is leaving Dargonis express gratitude for the hospitality ceasefire and proclaims its intent to return to Footfall to resume performing its regular functions.
The Divine watches over us.
I forget if there's a way to check on the projects of my other planets, or if they just complete when like a certain chapter or point gets hit. Yua's life force stands frozen in an unnatural pose amid the bleaking gloom and dancing shadows of the bridge. Her hands are clasped together strangely and her eyes are tightly closed. Her chest is utterly still, though she is not breathing at all. Yua remains unmotion, moving the entire time that you watch her, and only the barest flicker of her eyes beneath the cliff's legend that she is still alive at least. For the first time, Yua takes a deep breath in through her nose and barely audibly exhales. Her body remains as relaxed as ever and her eyes are still closed. Your presence does not seem to be in any way distracting. Oh, wait. So you find a somewhat comfortable spot and get settled. Your light still does not reflect on your presence. As time passes, you begin to sink into your own thoughts. The gilded chrono in your hands tells you that 2 watch hours have already elapsed. Your muscles feel stiff and your heads feel heavy on your neck. When you next glance around the smallest section of the bridge that your light has adapted for use, you catch someone's sharp, attentive gaze.
You are still here, Elentark.
Your light's words do not sound like a question or an expression of surprise. Her eyes quickly sweep over you and she nods in greeting.
Yes. I am sometimes surprised by the depth of your knowledge of my kind's customs, Elentark. But even if listening is your only skill, that in itself elevates you above billions of other monkey. My meditation is immersion. Immersion into myself, my inner world. It is my chance to speak to myself, but without words, or to heal wounds that cannot be seen with ordinary sight. It is difficult to explain, even in the language of the children of Azurian. There are so many meanings and shades in its sound alone, and the monkey tongue is too sparse and awkward. No. Immersion must be seen to be realized.
Alright.
I should say, Elentark, that during meditation, the mind does not leave the body. Part of it remains vigilant, monitoring what is taking place outside. So I heard every word you said, and I saw everything you did.
I didn't do anything.
Restraint is not a trait that your kind is known for. And yet, you did not interrupt my immersion, Elentark. A worthy act. I will remember this. Is that snake venom seeping from your lips? We, the children of Azurian, are no strangers to the art of war. We are not raiders, or butchers, or least of all, fools. When a craft world is beset by calamity, as you wish, Elentark. The outcasts my path led me to had a saying. Let me translate it for you. If you fall off a cliff, grab the roots and do not ask if they belong to a weed or a noble rosebush. You are the root I grabbed, Elentark. because I fell off a cliff. My homeworld is gone. My kin are either dead or hiding no one knows where. By joining forces with you, I may be able to nurture a seedling of the truth I so deeply yearn for.
Okay. Tech Priest connects to data slate. Transform the secret into a format that you can comprehend without the assistance of the servant of the Omnissiah. There's no doubt that was a miracle sent by the Omnissiah as a manifestation of his will. I just saw something. It was 2 guards fighting a monkey or something? Oh, a servitor. You mad at me?
To what do I owe this visit?
Even if you are, roll it out your ass. To get the C pattern. Couple stars boots. Okay. If I were to give you everything, it would only get me to 1. Which does get me upgrades on all of that. Oh, and most of the way to the next one. I'll take it. Good spend. That's what all that fighting has gotten me. All those void stuff, so. Better armor. Shield. Torpedoes. Speed. Ah, this is how I should be looking at it. Now I have the best one of those equipped. Macro cannons. Okay. Alright. Oh, I forgot about that. Great Hall. Great Ram. Okay, so if I upgrade it, then even better. I can ram a ship next time. Administratum. Henry wanted to come. Who doesn't love coming home to a little parade? Whisper, 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 whisper. Will I ever be able to finish a single parade? Someone better not be getting shot soon. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. A stately woman in long, full dress uniform makes a graceful curtsy. Her short graying hair does not obscure her stern features. I am Clementio Borsarian, Court Chancellor of the Von Valantius dynasty. On behalf of all Dargonas, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valantius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all, but as one star expires, another always flares to life. And although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the Trade dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Clementia. Abelard offers a reserved nod. He nods in return, and the lines on his brow soften ever so slightly. The man quickly brings a respirator to his burnt face and bows his head courteously. His raven black hair veils his burns, and skull implants in his thin metal fingers creak quietly as he offers a welcoming gesture. Achilles Scalander, Secretary of the Administrative Department, I hope your journey to Dugard was not darkened by unwanted troubles. May he remain merciful to us all until the end of time. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds, or perhaps we might sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Brother Urban Drivestem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonis and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the Fissa vigil are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. You heard correctly, your lordship. House Versarian, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. The cessation of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their function within the mechanism. Chancellor Versarian has held her position at the Von Valantius court for many years. She earned Lord Captain Theodore's respect through acts of grace perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Flood had nothing to do with it. Albert looks at you in surprise, but then he puts on an air of indifference. Thank you, Lord Captain. Why isn't the governor here? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Dryston's residence is on the other side of the world, by the administrative palace of Dargonis. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Chancellor Versarian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. They are very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you need it. Apologize for your bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for our conversation with me. I'm certain that you'll find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valantius Protectorate most useful. I'm gonna shut that door and he's just gonna shout chaos at me. By myself, this cannot be good. Oh, everybody's here. Sorry, I can't make them leave. I tried. Gordon.
Stay faithful, and you will be rewarded.
Be the rogue trader? He tossed 2 coins into the fountain and then he stole something from it. What a weirdo. But on the other hand, I was allowed to finish a full parade. Nobody died. Wasn't interrupted. Was that the 3rd time? Third time's the charm? First one on the ship, the one on the first planet, and then this one? Oh, I guess the first, like, actual planet we were allowed to choose to go to. Let me find the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. Yeah, sure, go for it. Antherner is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Galander, informed me that Yumbi awaits you with the opportunity to meet with you there. Lordship wishes to rest after the long journey, then your personal chambers are up the stairs and on the right. Yes, right. Need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Okay. Are you gonna point right adjacent? Oh, you won't. Okay. Your Lordship, the Governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Sharp gaze, the impeccable straight back, the composure. For a moment you feel like you're looking at a young version of Abelard himself, not his hair. Judging by the scars on the exposed part of her body, Clementure saw a fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. Why none at all, your lordship. Secretary Skillander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the von Valancius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain. He has proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. Certainly, however, do not concern myself with the governor's feelings, but I must warn you, your action or inaction may be interpreted in a certain way. Now, if your lordship will excuse me. I gotta meet with somebody. How you doing, Pascal? The slender figure clad in robes made from expensive fabrics shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Helios has been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Helios covers his burnt lips, trying failing to suppress a coughing fit. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you as well as her wishes for your safe return. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Your insight deserves credit, rogue trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodore von Valancius' successor. Allow me to introduce Achilles Galander properly. In addition to his duties as the Secretary of Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Gondor throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord Ignatius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. Do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Voigtvir's accomplices on the capital world. I have already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonis' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles on Dargonis, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whoever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonis are well respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interest, and each one expects to split out with the transition of power they retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend give particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Gapraks, and Sourbacks. I also mentioned the Worsarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, so the Blue Bloods' great displeasure. The Drivestems are the ancient governor house of Dargonis. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the Von Volantis Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Driveston's rivals seem to have met the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raid. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Driveston, but we lack solid proof. It might never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only of the Von Volantius here, not his servant. Gavraks hail from a remote forward world. Among their distant relatives, there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. Gapraks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet. Those are grim tidings. It's a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleagues could pick up the cultist trail in the Cold Wars. Of course, it would be a small consolation to all of us. Religious and hardworking, the Sourbacks own many enterprises, including distillation manufacturers that produce promethium. Must note that lately members of the Sourback family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the Von Volantius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave a world without proper oversight. Worsarians allowed by Lady Theodora's seneschal and are such normally considered nobility. At least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dragonis, however, the position is precarious. Firstly, they were never granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dragonis. And secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. Worsarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments. There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos and the threat they pose both to you and humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears are scattered throughout the Coronis expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of the observers and contacts have been dark or have been killed by some calamity or another. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who are about to warn me about including threats, including Xenos raids. It's within my power to supply you with the intelligence of where you and when the Xenos will strike next, so do not doubt that Governor Driveston will beg for your protection against the Xenos, and in this fight the information of my contact will serve you well. I beseech you, Ignatius. If I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Officially, I am a secretary of this world's administrative department. Less officially, I'm afraid I can disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root on outstanding planets of humanity. Above all else, I am concerned about the Xenos threat that hangs over the entire Coronis expanse, including your protectorate. Sadly, my mission was complicated by the recent warp disturbances I am still trying to re-establish. Can I ask for that? I don't feel like I can. Yeah. This is fully limited, your lordship. All my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master Van Kala can tell you much more about those heretics than I. Residents of the local system are no strangers to skirmishes with the enemies of humanity, but recently the loathsome beasts seem to have completely fallen off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that made it through the warp to Dargonis, but they and the colonies that they departed from are being attacked. We have identified the breed of Xenos that pose the threat, the Drukari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. But be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a rogue trader's ship should they find circumstances to be in their favor. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics. Overwhelming evidence indicates that our plundered voice station, Langrid's Belt, is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I am unable to persuade the Chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to these scoundrels yourself. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor are prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you are ready to see. Your friend be escorted to your study. Ignatius von Valentius, 20th in his line, road trader, keeper of the Sacred Warrant, and ruler of the Coronis, expands from the Krenak system of the 100 Dream Crossroads. I bid you welcome. Urban Drivestem, governor of this great world, first and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valentius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonis and of the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare happy your mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. The governor glances at Cabela anxiously, then immediately averts his gaze. Then he looks at her again, but when Cabela lets out a grim chuckle and stretches her lip daubed in fresh blood into a petrifying grin, the governor turns away from her sharply, all but squealing in fear. Bewilderment causes the wrinkles on Dresden's glossy face to soften emotion. These are century-old traditions, sacred customs, and rules. Do not forget who it is you serve, Urban Drivestem. If it is rogue trader's wish not to mourn the ceremony, then so be it. Perhaps if her parvenu installed by Lady Theodora cares not for the sacred traditions of our founding ancestors. Ignatius is a descendant of the true child of Dargonis. It behooves the ruler of the world to honor its customs. As you will, your lordship. Esteemed Ignatius, Lady Theodora was a strong leader and we ought to follow her example. Let's lean on her wisdom and persevere in the spite of this tragedy. Together, let's carry where she no longer can by leading the von Valentius to protect even greater prosperity. Seems that he is quite aware of your fame, and his opportunity to confer with such an eminent figure is one he does not wish to miss. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonis flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with the neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the roots are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships under Dargonis Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the von Valentius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world. Janus that supplied Dargonis, whose empty stones can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Geprick is perturbed by the loss of communication with Kiev, which is in their charge, but if you wish to know my opinion, the world that discerns your attention most is the penal world Vivo 6, one of the key mining suppliers of your protectorate. Such woeful tidings, your lordship. I assume that House Gaprek is in it for an official investigation. If I remind you, they particularly close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus and serve as patrons of Kiel Gallant, not to speak in defense of criminals, your lordship. But where I stand, the outbreak of heresy in Quebec has hardly been perpetrated by a noble family who stands to lose majority of their wealth should the industrial world fall. Most reasonable, your lordship. Truly, the Violet line is one of the oldest in the Von Valantis protector. If the interior of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. The Violet line is broken. Such horrible news. I will shake many who were connected to the Violet and who are used to the immunity that comes with our class. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Vivo 6, the manufacturers on your roads will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments, and in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays. And other most tragic mishaps, my only concern is the prosperity of the Von Valantius. Lordship, I don't rightly know where to begin. Otherworldly beasts are not in common sight in the Cronus expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades, but now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging to the point where they become fit for transportation or outright cutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonis. Luckily, we are forced to slay some of the deranged psychers, although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Vivo 6 has been of particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now to issue on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in capital due to the unorthodox secession in the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? Mr. Lord's wrath descends upon the guilty. Have no doubt there will be a soul in Dargonis willing to share their fate. One last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. Imagine you are attempting to uphold the century-long by equally long-lasting friendship being represented by Dargonis by one of the noble houses. I presume that as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestone. Any of the noble houses located on Dargonis, the Drivestone family, which I lead, the Gaprek family with long ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Sauervex, known for their piety and perhaps I should also mention the Versarians, who have some influence, but who are not actually of noble origin. Any one of these houses would be honored to represent you. About that. Yeah, we're gonna go with the Versarians. Owen turns to you and bows respectfully. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical honor hour is the greatest honor of the Versarian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you. Dresden tosses Avalar a look that lacks even the smallest shred of respect. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Versarians, whose lineage traces back to a Navy officer, are not of the Darganus nobility. Such decision may be averse on your subjects' loyalty, Lordship. I shall immediately remit your commands, most gracious arbitrator. Thank you for your time. Until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trans routes to sail into the Central Worlds are going through a crisis in the warp disturbance. Thank you for your time. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Yeah, I hate that guy.
I need to look closer.
Where moves through a cell occupied by an enemy. The wearer gives plus 15% dodge. Okay. The Xenos artifacts. Theodore, what were you getting up to? We're hit tonight with an area attack. The wearer gains +1 stack of the Zealot effect. 10% damage with their area's attack. The wearer hits an ally with an area attack. And wearer +10 to tech use. They also increase the damage of plasma weapons. Empty glass and 3 unopened bottles of wine sit on a finely crafted table. As the keen and raised oil smells, students ever access the room. They do so very rarely. Secret room is remarkably quiet and almost homely. Perhaps your predecessor used it when she sought complete solitude. I just got poisoned. Oh, there's a code to it. Oh, it's the stuff she's been leaving behind. It's a 3-part code. Interesting. I've almost got it. Not really the last one. The data bank is what I got from. I thought the data bank would unlock it, but that works too. Okay. That is going to be all for today. It doesn't look like we ever had the stream crash or break down or anything like that, which is awesome. So we will be able to get back into streaming and get right back on track. So for those of you who watched these and those of you who are watching, I want to say thank you and have a good night. See ya.